Chapter 4, Mishnah 5. Another case where one is obligated to free his Canaanite slave for the benefit of society. Someone who is half slave and half free, for example, two partners owned one Canaanite slave, and one of them freed his half of the slave, works 1 day for his master and 1 day for himself, meaning that the income from 1 day of work belongs to his master, and the income from the next day of work belongs to him, and so on. These are the words of Beis Hillel. However, Beis Shammai said to them, with this arrangement, you have solved the problem for the slave's master, because he gets his fair share of the slave's work and loses nothing. But you have not solved the problem for the half-slave himself, because he may not get married. It is impossible for him to marry a Canaanite slave woman, because half of him is already a free man, to whom a Canaanite slave woman is prohibited, and it is impossible for him to marry a free woman, because half of him is still a Canaanite slave, to whom a free woman is prohibited. Shall he give up marriage altogether and not bear any children? But the world was created only for reproduction, i.e. to have children who will populate the world. As it is stated, he, God, did not create it, the world, to be deserted. He formed it to be inhabited. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 18. Since God's plan for the world was that people should have children, we must find a way to let the half-slave marry and have children. Rather, for the benefit of society, that is, to make it possible for the slave to fulfill his obligation to marry and have children, we force his master to give him a document of freedom and make him a completely free man, so that he may marry a free woman and have children from her. And to compensate the master for his loss, the slave must write a contract for half his value and give the contract to the owner. Eventually, when the freed slave has that amount of money, he must pay it to the owner. The Mishnah records that Beis Hillel changed their opinion. And Beis Hillel, upon hearing the arguments of Beis Shammai, changed their minds and ruled like the words of Beis Shammai, that the master must free the half-slave so that he may marry and have children.